How have the storms impacted you? It's Elizabeth and Radar on the mix. And in 26 years of our house existing, this has never happened before. The sump pump stopped working and the basement flooded. And it's a mess. But I want to share this with all of you because there is one thing that saved us from even more damage, more thousands of dollars of damage and issues. And it's something that our plumber, Zach, told us about years ago that everybody needs to have in their basements. So what happened was, this was now 2 nights ago when we had these really, really bad storms. My dog and I were in the basement because, of course, this is the week that my husband is in San Antonio for work.
Nothing happens when one of you is away. Nothing ever happens. Everything is just easy cheese after. No, of course
Do you
not.
remember he missed the polar vortex? He was traveling for work in Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
to this day, I said, Eric, you still do not know how cold that was. Like, you will never understand how cold that was. So Eric is gone all week. I'm in the basement because it was a severe thunderstorm warning. It was really bad in Waukesha in our area. There's already a lot of flooding that happened. And some of our neighbors up the street, Doug and Erica, texted and said, hey, are you guys good? And I said, yep, we're good. And I literally texted in the basement, basement's dry. Like 10 minutes before this whole situation happened.
And the basement went, we'll see.
So
go ahead and send that text.
She texted me back and she said, well, I just got home and had to be rerouted in the neighborhood because your intersection is completely flooded and there's a floating car.
Well, that's not good. No, floating cars are not good. It's not the future yet.
Have never seen that happen in our neighborhood. So the warning stopped. It's about 8:50. I get in my pajamas. I'm going to get ready for bed. I shut down the basement. I go outside to take a video of the floating car because I want to send this to Brayson and Eric. Like, you're never going to believe this. The neighbor guy across the street, Steve's talking to me about just the water. And then he asked me, he goes, how's your basement? And I said, we're good. I was just down there. And he looked over to the side of my house. And Steve said, you have like a river going between your house and Dave's. And I'm like, yeah, that happens. But we've got the French drain. Like, we're good.
Right.
I go into my house. It's about 9 o'clock at this point, and I am going to let our dog out one last time before we're going to go to bed. And I hear this noise that I've never heard before. And this is what I'm telling you, mixers, is the most valuable thing that happened. I'm like, what is this siren? What is this alarm? Is this outside? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on out front now because of the flooding. The news showed up. And I was
to your house?
No, to out front with the floating car.
Oh, because of the boat there, yeah.
Yes. The neighbors are texting me about the news being out there.
Maybe it was a duck from the Dells. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, let me get to the story. So what happened was, I hear this siren, I hear this alarm, and I'm like, what is that? It's the alarm to notify us when there's water in the basement. This costs only a couple bucks. So if you have any valuable stuff in your basement and you want to be aware of this, you need to get one of these little alarms. And I realized, oh my gosh, and it's flooding. So I run downstairs.
Yeah.
And just like the Titanic, you can see the water starting to seep in. We have a finished basement. All of the water is now underneath the couch. It's coming out from underneath the bar. And the sump pump stopped. It's silent. It's not even working.
Did the band continue to play? I'm sorry.
There was no band.
There was the, oh my gosh, probably other words that you were yelling.
So let me tell you really what was going through my mind. I stood there.
You're frozen.
For about 2 minutes, not even moving, not even reacting. I'm alone. Eric's gone. It's 9 o'clock. More rain is coming. I'm like, what do I do? So I call our next door neighbor, Dave, who is very handy and an electrician. And he's coming back from the Brewers game. And he's like, I will be over the second I get home. I call Doug up the street, who walked to my house to help move things.
Did he have to paddle to your house with the floating car there? Holy cow.
That's just it. He couldn't drive there. So he walked. He walked. And then our plumber, Zach, from Blue Water Plumbing, giving him a shout out. He showed up to the house. He was helping to try to just basically put a Band-Aid on the situation until the next morning he could have Dan come out, one of his guys, and finish the job and put in the new sump pump. And we were moving stuff as fast as we can.
Unbelievable.
Into the garage, trying to get, but it's interesting when this stuff happens. I did an Instagram live last night where I showed the basement. So if you want to see what this all looks like, and if you've been through this, you know it's just a mess and it stinks and it's exhausting. it's interesting when you're in that moment where seconds count and you look around and you think, what does matter down here? Not a whole lot. You know, we have all this crap, but not a whole lot. But
as the basement is flooding, seconds don't really I mean, that in that point, you're like, oh my gosh, maybe just try and save stuff. But
yeah,
even then.
So we have these paintings that my husband's grandma's done. And I know where those are in storage because we want to move those somewhere else. And so we get that stuff out. We get all this hunting gear out. We were able to get like the coffee table, the bar stools, get that stuff out, put it in the garage.
Run, get the stuff out. Yes.
It was an adrenaline rush. We were cleaning this up until 12:30 a.m. Water's still coming in because ultimately we couldn't get the sump. He had to get a whole new sump pump and the pipe broke. So if we would have gotten a new sump pump in with a broken pipe, it would have just been pouring more water into the basement. And you're just standing there like, what are you supposed to do at this point? So finally, yesterday got a hold of the restoration company that are coming today to rip everything out. But I'm just looking in this basement now thinking they've got to disassemble the bar. They have to saw the pool table in half, get the couch out. It's a loss, but we have insurance. We're going to be okay. It could be worse. Thank God I was home.
Thank God you were home. Yeah, because
and then
I know
heard the alarms.
There's a lot of people in the area, like around the state fair, when they had the floodings during the state fair, that last day of the state fair. There's a lot of people who weren't home or they were trying to get home from the state fair. And they're like, oh, by the time I get home, there was a river downstairs. But yeah, I mean, you lost everything, though. That's awful because then you have to kind of redo everything. The walls are... How is that situation?
It got as high as the trim. And I'll know today.
Oh, it's high enough.
I'll know today when the restoration company shows up. I'll know today what they will tell me the damage is. I mean, they're going to have to, go into the drywall and it's a mess. But we're here. We're okay. You really recognize like what's important and what's not, like I talked about. But the one embarrassing but funny thing that happened.
Were you on the toilet?
So
when your neighbors came over?
No, I was moving stuff out of the basement. I was moving stuff out of the basement.
Embarrassing story.
No, so when the plumber came over and he's like, okay, because he had to like pry off the top of the sump pump. He's like, I need a flathead. I need a hammer. I need a crowbar. And I'm like, got it. I go upstairs into our very unorganized garage. And I'm like, where is this stuff? And I cannot find anything. And then I call Eric, who's in San Antonio. And Eric's like, Elizabeth, all that stuff is up north. Oh my gosh. So I go downstairs and I have this like little
Can you DoorDash these things?
I have this little tiny baby hammer and this little tiny flathead that I use for like just tightening hardware in the kitchen.
Here's the screwdriver for my glasses. Does that work?
There's water spraying. Exactly. There's water spraying everywhere. I go down to Dave. I've got a plumber who's a professional. Dave's an electrician, a professional. And I'm like, here I go. He's like, do you have duct tape? I got 3 colors of duct tape for you, man.
Which color?
But I don't have this stuff. So he had to go get his own. But you see the good in your neighbors and your friends when these things happen. So shout out to all of them for helping me out. And we're going to get this cleaned up today. And it's a mess, but I hope wherever you all are, you're staying safe. Get that alarm and put that in your basement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's
it's cheap and not as expensive as it would be to do the whole basement. Because I have one of those too. It's like, oh my God.
Well, because
after it happened to me in 2017, I'm like, nope.
I don't know when I would have been back in that basement.
Nope.
That's the other part.
Yeah.
Like,
who knows?
There would have been no reason to go back
until the morning. And by then,
wild time. So hopefully you all are staying safe. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting texts from people. What can I help with? People are so nice.
Oh, that's so good. That's a good people's.
People are so nice.
Everybody be putting up with that, man. That's
but it's exhausting. I'm exhausted. But we're going to get through it.
Friends of ours, the Mudgetts, they had to do that. They live near Hale High School, and they had like 5 feet of water in the basement. Everything had to get ripped out. But then Dave was like, okay, this is the before, and then here's the progress. And then he did a before and after kind of photo. And he's like, yeah, we had to redo everything. It was kind of just a mess. You don't want to have to do that, but sometimes it happens.
I know. What can you do? Well, hopefully you all are good. All right. We are in a commercial break right now. So we're going to take a quick little break. And then we'll be back for the 3 must-hear clips of the day and the Mix Mega Minute. We had somebody that got 9 out of 10 recently. Maybe we're going to get a winner.
Hey, you never know. Could have $1,000 going out the door.